Welcome to The Real Deal with Tricia Riel. That's me, Trish the Dish. This comedic astrological report is for mid-February to mid-March of 2019. As usual, some of the characters from my Zephram Gates books will be helping me with this report.
Remember, if you ever need a real helping hand, you'll find one at the end of your arm.
So, February 15th and 16th started us off with a very strange weekend vibe, as asteroid Chiron traveled through the very last degrees of tropical Pisces, ending an 8-year journey there. It's been a time of letting go, closure, and endings. A time of dreams, a wish to escape, and a karma cleanse. Time to take out the internal trash and heal the unhealable within. Be kind to yourself on this very strange spiritual journey.
Yes, forgive us our trash passes as we forgive those who have trash passed against us.
With the moon in its home sign of Cancer for most of the February 15th, 16th weekend, we may have felt at the mercy of our moods. We've had to ride it out and know that the vibes will change soon.
Yeah, we've been like bears with extreme mood swings. Bipolar bears.
Right. So Mars just entered Taurus on February 14th and will be traveling through Taurus until the end of March. So there's a subtle slowdown on some of the wild energies we've been feeling since the beginning of the year. This time period is a good time to finish up projects we've started, and it's also a good time to get more in touch with our senses in more real, tangible ways.
I'm Beatrice Bragg, the head waitress and manager over at the Stew and Shoe in Havesville. I like to keep my shit together, so I find it hard to slow down sometimes, as do so many of the people who drive past my diner. It's a very busy intersection, and I like my customers to feel safe as they come in and out of my establishment. Anyway, I talked to the local authorities, and they put up a big yellow sign that said, "Caution, school crossing." Still, people kept on whizzing by the diner. So the city put up another big yellow sign that said, "Go slow, children at play." But even with these two signs, drivers continued to speed past the diner. Finally, I decided to take matters into my own hands. So I created a large sign that said, "Go slow, nudist colony."
So the mood brightens a little on Sunday, February 17th, with the moon entering sunny Leo. But it isn't until Monday, February 18th, that we get a real energy shift. Asteroid Chiron enters Aries on February 18th for an 8-year journey of healing ourselves. It's a time to genuinely be you. You were born to express, develop, and share your unique gifts. Time to heal your broken parts and come together as whole.
Sometimes I just tuck my knees into my chest and lean forward. Yep, that's just how I roll.
So, Chiron, known as the wounded healer in mythology, has an elliptical orbit that travels between Saturn and Uranus. It has a 51-year orbit, so the people born between 1968 and 1976 will start experiencing their Chiron returns. It's a turning point in their healing journey. Wherever Chiron transits in your chart is where your highest healing can occur. With Chiron's shift into Aries, it's time to move on and be around people who have a more compatible frequency with you. It's a return to wholeness and individualized healing.
I am Dr. Melvin Moot, the science teacher over at the Fiddlesticks School for Alternative Thinkers with Unusual Abilities. And I have to say that the frequency of bad physics jokes really hurts.
Right. So, with Saturn, Venus, and Pluto all conjunct together in Capricorn right now, our ambitions are starting to feel much more real and palpable. Even so, it's a very in-between time before our new vision of reality has had a chance to really manifest. These in-between moments can be uncomfortable transitions, so just keep your vision at the forefront of your wish list to stay positive.
Speaking about vision, I just went to the eye doctor and told him that every time I drink tea, my eye hurts. He said, "That's easy to fix. Just take the spoon out of your cup."
So Uranus is also going through the last degree of Aries, the critical degree, and ending an 8-year journey that began when it entered Aries on March 11th, 2011. That's also the date when we had the Fukushima earthquake, so we are ending a very volatile cycle of intense revolutionary energy. Between now and March 7th, we will experience the last gasp of the Uranus-Pluto square that has played out through the 2010s. The Uranus-Pluto square is also known as the Great Depression era aspect, as it was going on during the 1930s as well. This aspect has signified worldwide demands for revolutionary social and political transformation. Yeah, we definitely need a political transformation, and soon. When number 45 talks, it sounds like a nursing home rant by somebody with dementia. I feel like a nose being lectured by a fart. Yes. Although the Uranus-Pluto square is coming to a close, finally, a Pluto-Saturn conjunction is very close right now and will culminate in 2020. So we are still in the midst of gearing up for some large-scale political shifts. Seriously, I'm Francine Muller, community activist, and I gotta say that a national emergency over a wall is totally crackers. You know who should have declared a national emergency a long time ago? Fact checkers. Right. So Pluto is in the same place it was in 1771. So the vibes we're feeling now are very similar to the unrest they felt in the U.S. colonies pre-1776. It's also similar to the early 1500s, the Renaissance period. So although it's challenging times, we have the potential to transform traditional structures in some real revolutionary ways.
Yeah, it's hard to find a job as an abacus operator these days, so I'm looking for something new and revolutionary.
Okay. So the full moon in Virgo will be on Tuesday, February 19th at 7:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is another full supermoon, and the closest supermoon of 2019. It's very powerful and will appear 15% larger than normal because the moon will be at perigee, closest to the Earth. We'll experience extreme tides and big shifts.
So, astronomers got tired of watching the moon rotate around the Earth for 24 hours, so they just called it a day.
So this is the fourth full moon happening at 0 degrees of a sign. So although most full moons are about culminations, this full moon on February 19th is also about new beginnings. With the moon also making a harmonious trine to Mars, it's a good time to clear out the old and focus on your real practical healing and move forward. Mercury also conjuncts Neptune now and through March and part of April as well. This is great for creative thinking, imagination, meditation, and getting in touch with altered states that connect you to a sense of oneness. Find your spiritual anchor inside. Be the hub of your own internal wheel.
I've heard that wheels and walls both work 'cause they're medieval.
It's a strange time with Jupiter squaring Neptune, asking for greater expansion, while Saturn gets closer to its conjunction to Pluto and Capricorn, which is more about constriction. A strange time in politics is highlighted.
I don't really approve of political jokes. I've just seen too many of them get elected.
So, by February 20th, the Moon will make a harmonious trine to Venus, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn. So practical harmony continues past the full moon and in some real deep ways. From February 22nd to the 24th, Venus exactly conjuncts Pluto in Capricorn and makes a harmonious 60-degree sextile to Mercury in Pisces. It's a good time to dream the real, transform our ambitions in a way that serves our higher selves.
Speaking of ambitious, it's been so cold this winter that I've actually seen career-oriented women freezing their eggs on the sidewalks.
So, on March 1st, Venus enters visionary Aquarius, bringing harmony to the unusual and original.
I admit that I feel the most in harmony when my finances are in order. So I'm going to be just like rich people in my new vision of things. The next time I cut down on my monthly expenses, I'm just going to send my horses to public school.
The Moon joins Venus in Aquarius on March 2nd, really helping March to feel like a new month, with more outside-the-box original energies. Our visionary ideals are active.
Yeah, maybe they'll even figure out new colors for our organic hemp clothing. You know, something other than oatmeal and throw-up colors.
Ew. So Venus in Aquarius will be making a dynamic square 90-degree angle with Mars in Taurus. So we'll need to balance our ideals with our sensuality. These fixed energies are great for activating our wills, both in concept and in reality.
Speaking of sensuality, I felt the need to go to the doctor recently to talk about Geezer losing interest in sex. My doctor gave me a pill to give to Geezer, but the doc warned that it was very experimental. That night, I slipped the pill into Geezer's mashed potatoes. Within 5 minutes, Geezer jumped up, raked the food dishes onto the floor, grabbed me, ripped off all of my clothes, and ravaged me right there on the table. When I told the doctor what happened, she said, "Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't realize the pill was that strong. Our medical foundation will be glad to pay for damages." I said, "Oh, that's okay. We don't plan to go back to that restaurant anyway."
In other news, Mercury goes retrograde in Pisces from March 5th to March 28th. Mercury appears retrograde 3 times a year for about 3 weeks each time. Statistics show that a typical Mercury retrograde doesn't really have any influence over major communication networks unless it's also making a square 90-degree angle to one of the outer planets. Because Mercury will be squaring Jupiter during this retrograde, this could be a potent and confusing Mercury retrograde. especially by March 15th, when the Mercury-Jupiter square culminates. So much Pisces energy and so much need for deeper compassion of ourselves and others during this time. Do your best to choose a healing path rather than an escapist path, and if you must escape the world in some way, choose healthy options.
Did you hear about the fortune-telling dwarf who escaped from prison? Yeah, reporters say that there's a small medium at large.
The biggest news is that Uranus will enter Taurus on March 7th for a 7-year journey. Generally, this signifies a change in values. We will want to do money in new ways, embrace digital technologies more, and we'll be valuing our practical independence on a whole new level. This is just the beginning of a 7-year cycle. Wherever Taurus is in your chart is where you're likely to see the most change. Allow the new vibe into your world and let it revolutionize how you do you.
Oh, and do you know what you call a vegetable that escapes from prison? An escapee!
We are past all of the karmic retrogrades of 2018 and moving forward. In the next couple of months, we might revisit some of the things we experienced from mid-May to early August of 2018. But now it's more forward motion. It's kind of a do-over of that time period in a way. So hold on to your hats as change is imminent.
Do you know where frogs leave their hats and coats? In the cloakroom.
Stay tuned for future astrological reports through the Om Shala newsletter and YouTube. Subscribe to my channel and share this video with others if you've enjoyed it. To support the real deal into the future and also help with the publishing costs of my third Zephram Gates book, please become one of my regular supporters at my Patreon page, patreon.com/Tricia Riel. Links provided below. And this concludes The Real Deal with Tricia Riel.